Hello there, and welcome back to the GlupCast. I am your host, James, joined by my ever-faithful co-host, Jack.
And today we are doing something ever so different with the channel today. You may not believe it, you may be able to tell from the decor we have on the table here, but we're not talking about Star Wars. Can you quite believe it? Today we are going to be discussing the upcoming and very anticipated movie, that of course being The Batman Part 2. Obviously, there's not a great deal of information known about it at this time. It's very still in the early stages. It's all been drip-fed quotes from Matt Reeves whenever he seems to turn up at an event.
Robert Pattinson likes the script. That's about what we know.
Oscar-worthy, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But this is going to be a video. We're going to, theories, predictions, things we'd like to see in the Batman 2, sort of thoughts on where the film may be headed based on the very limited, obviously, information at this time.
Yeah.
And just sort of a general discussion around what could quite possibly be the greatest movie of all time.
I'm sure hoping so. The first one, in my view, was a peak. So the second one, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, we'll give our little thoughts about what might happen, what we want to happen, what probably won't happen.
And what shouldn't happen.
Yes.
Get straight into it, shall we?
So as we already touched on, we don't know much at the minute. The movie is, at the minute, set to release in 2027, but we'll see how that goes.
Which already is like a stupidly long wait for a sequel. Like, my God. Definitely. I know you can't rush perfection by any means, but come on, this is...
I'm going to struggle to wait that long.
Yeah.
The first one was so good, and even that felt like a wait. I remember when they showed off like the little first look at it, and then waiting between that and the film actually coming out already.
But at least
long.
for that, like, there was COVID, so there's a reason why it kind of got delayed. Whereas it kind of just feels like they've not bothered making the second film at this point, and they're just kind of, oh yeah, I guess the script's done now.
Yeah. But I mean, that aside, we don't know much else. But Matt Reeves has made a quote recently where he's talked about the villain of the movie, who is as yet unannounced, saying that there's going to be a particular relation to Bruce Wayne. He talks about the first movie being a Batman movie, and this is having a bit more focus on Bruce, and that the villain has, quote, never really been done before.
Which is a wafty quote. And
yeah.
Kind of, take for it what you will, take for a pinch of salt,
My view is, and I may be completely proven wrong in a couple of years' time, but everyone, like, every sort of, like, news page that's reported that quote is saying, like, well, that absolutely rules out every villain we've ever seen in the Batman movie before.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to be accurate.
At the very least, they can't, maybe the main villain will be someone completely new, fine. Yeah. But, like, we already know that Colin Farrell's in the film in some form, so we know Penguin's going to be back in it. Probably not as a main, antagonist, but...
Yeah, I think that is something else we know. I believe he's come out very recently and said that he's in about 5 or 6 scenes.
Yeah.
So he's still going to be part of it, which is obviously good. He was great in the first movie.
And anyone who's seen The Penguin Show is just, while we're waiting for the next film, that was the perfect little spice of Batman in there. Despite not showing Batman, but, it kind of still built the hype up and...
Yeah, builds the world.
Yeah.
Builds the world.
Well built in between.
But no, I personally think in that Matt Reeves quote, the word really is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Really been done. I mean, come on.
So, and I don't know whether I'm just using that to justify what I want, but first wish list item of the video, the villain I would most love to see would be Scarecrow. Now, I'll get out ahead of everyone here and say, yes, I know he was in Batman Begins, but... First of all, I don't consider him the main villain in that movie. I would say that Ra's al Ghul was the main villain and the League of Shadows, and that he was just... He facilitated the plan of, like, spreading the gas around.
He was the pawn of Ra's al Ghul, essentially, wasn't he?
And I liked Cillian Murphy's take on it, and I like that he appeared in all 3 movies. That was a nice little touch. But I wouldn't consider him the main character, and I don't think he's been done properly. And more than anything, I mean, I loved how he did Riddler in the first movie. I love Matt Reeves' Gotham and his take on it. I would love to see a full-on horror Scarecrow in that world. And I think if you're going to do it now, please.
Yeah, I think considering the Rogues Gallery as a whole, there's obviously a lot of characters that would 1,000,000% work in Matt Reeves' kind of realistic, gritty universe. Then there's so many that we're not seeing Killer Moth in Batman Part 2, guys. Sorry to break it to the 3 fans, but we're not seeing him.
I think it's still going to go hard.
But yeah, that would be insane, because I suppose, you got to think to the point, what villain could still be done true to the character, but not be too
Yeah. It's a weird line of I love how grounded they are, and I don't want them to lose that. But I'm also okay with them going over that edge a little bit. So Scarecrow, I think, is one that he has this fear toxin,
which could easily be written into be a real thing.
I was going to say, I think that's reasonable, and then through the fear toxin, you can make it slightly more fantastical because none of that stuff's actually happening, but you have these, hallucinations and things. So I think that could be a nice way of doing it.
There would be, and I would not be mad if that was the villain, but I personally don't think it's good. Whether he's in it in some form, like maybe again as like a side villain or like working under the main villain again. Yeah. But everyone's predictions for who this villain is rumored to be, of course, is none other than Hush.
Yeah.
Which makes sense given the quote that's been said around the fact that it's a villain who's connected to Bruce's past. I can't think off my head any other villains that could really...
Not really.
Without substantial rewrites in backstory could really...
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm wondering whether they're going to go down that route. If it is Hush, again, I have faith that they'll do it quite well. It won't be my choice, to be honest. We've both been reading Hush at the minute for a video soon to appear soon.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, just for a little retrospective on the comic. Obviously, it was a big one back in the day. And I don't know if I'm that fussed. The comic itself is good, but Hush as a villain, I think they're going to have to do some work with him to make him serve the movie. And also, I don't want it to be too much of a retread of Riddler in the first one, of a kind of serial killer kind of movie. I want it to be more focused on him against Batman rather than him against everyone else and Batman's trying to stop him.
Yeah, I think it would be cool because we've had the complete opposite end of the spectrum with Riddler not being necessarily a villain to fight, as you say, like he's playing the mind games with the Batman, whereas it would be cool to have a different end of that in the next film, being like, a physical character he has to overcome, kind of similar to like Bane in Dark Knight Rises. Joker, he could beat him in a fight any day, but Bane's the one that actually, bent him up like a pretzel.
Yeah, I think the only other one I've seen a lot of talk about, which fits in with the kind of thing of, okay, never been done before, and fits in with Bruce Wayne, is the Court of Owls, which, I could see that being in this universe, definitely. The Court of Owls comic was the first Batman comic I ever read, and I love that story.
I'm still yet to read it, I can't lie.
It is great, and I think the Court of Owls could work. My only problem would be that storyline. So I had the 2 volumes. You've got the Court of Owls and the City of Owls. The Court of Owls, great comic, loved it. I used to read that front to back, and I didn't have the second one. And I got that, and I don't think the story lands. And that is, I think, what they would struggle with in terms of who becomes the main villain, because there's got to be someone to beat rather than this group of people. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but I would say the reveal of who is sort of the main villain in that storyline, I'm not a fan. It's just it's the most random sort of comic book-esque, it's this guy who,
Calendar Man.
Yeah, that's my sort of concern if they do that. Don't get me wrong, it would still be really cool to see. They've not been in a movie before, and they are a cool concept.
But is it something slightly too convoluted to fit into one film, is my thing. I almost feel like if they're going to do that, they should plant the seed throughout a trilogy and almost have everything, kind of like in the James Bond films, they have Spectre's kind of control of all these events. Whether that would be kind of a better storyline to pay off with, but what do I know?
Yeah, that's I think sort of our main thoughts around the villains. Certainly I wouldn't mind seeing potentially other ones in there as side characters, or maybe if we do a little sort of catch up with Bruce, depending on where this film takes place, how long after the first film, we might have a little catch up of what he's been doing in the meantime. So we might.
I'd love for there to be, like you say, focus on one main villain, but kind of in the beginning of the film, I can almost imagine a montage of him defeating loads of B-tier villains, have Victor Zsasz in there getting locked up.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Even make Calendar Man as a joke, but have him as another serial killer, just getting stopped by Batman, or doing something related to him, and kind of a montage of him throwing all these people in Arkham and thinking okay, who's next? So then have the villain in that film be the one that kind of knocks him off his stride in terms of he's thinking he's the nuts now after becoming the Batman officially, and to kind of have him then come against something that Obviously, I don't want him to lose, but you know.
Yeah, no, I think that would be a really good way of framing it, because he finishes the Batman as he realizes he's got to become something more. He's not vengeance, but he is Batman. And I think that'd be a really great way to show him coming into this new role and starting to settle into that, and then getting sort of knocked off course and having to sort of navigate his way through that in the movie. And I think that would be a nice sort of narrative way of framing it. And I mean, there's so many villains that could work for that story.
Yeah.
But
also a lot that couldn't. Like, my personal pick for a good film, which I know wouldn't necessarily work with this universe, unless significant rewrites, but my personal pick will always be Mr. Freeze. Like, I just want a good film play on his... I must have him as the main story in terms of, like, his motivations and his sort of reasons for doing what he's doing. To be playing off against Batman, I think would be my personal pick if I could write any Batman film right now. But I do see how I would struggle to get a proper version of that in the Matt Reeves universe, because you actually can have some dude in a giant ice mech suit who needs to like be plugged into a ice box all the time. Like, it'd be a tricky one to...
I think they could do it. He's never been my favourite character. I wouldn't be against it. I think it could be cool. Who would you cast is the question.
Who would I cast?
Because some of these roles are...
Probably Ryan Gosling.
Why not? I'd have him as all the characters in the movie. He could be Hush. That could be kind of cool. He is literally me.
One
like,
of the faces is just Ryan Gosling.
I would be up for that. Yeah, no, I think... Like I say, there's a ton of villains that could work in this movie. We've obviously given what we would like to see. Obviously, all of your views, leave them below.
Who would you want to see going up against Batman? Who, you know, if there's a montage, who would you pick? Any sort of niche characters you'd like to suddenly be amended into like a real life version? Like, you can kind of imagine like a Firefly.
Maxi Zeus.
But like Firefly would work as an actual like serial arsonist.
Firefly I actually really like as a character.
Yeah.
And
I could see that as a real thing.
Rip my guy Brendan Fraser. We never got to see it. But maybe one day. Maybe one day it will come out of the vault.
Release the Batgirl cut.
Yeah. But yeah. But moving on from villains, let's have a little look at other areas we're looking at. So what we might like to see from Bruce's development, you know, Batman, potentially new gadgets, new suit, car. Where are we going to go with that? Villains, which is obviously a big point of discussion here, into some more just general sort of wishes about the movie. One thing I'm quite keen on, and I would really like to see, because he was good in the Batman, but we didn't get much of him. I'd like to see more Alfred. You know,
big up my boy Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis, I liked him in the movie, but he didn't have too much to do. Like, when I think about The Dark Knight, I feel like Michael Caine was in it quite a lot.
And we love Michael Caine. I can't get enough of the guy.
The Lamborghini.
I'd happily just watch an Alfred film. I know they made that fucking Pennyworth TV show.
Yeah.
But if they just did a Michael Caine 3-hour...
Yeah. He has ruined the name of the place Rangoon for me, because I just, every time I hear it,
the size of a tangerine.
But yes, I think we need to have Andy Serkis give his take.
No, fucking get Michael Caine back.
Just
Sorry,
recast
Andy,
him. No one will
get
know.
Michael Caine back. Alfred Senior.
Yes, that's one thing I'd like to see, and potentially with a more Bruce-focused film, we might get that. Obviously, we did get some really good scenes between them in the first movie.
That being said, I do hope we also get a good dose of Gordon back in it as well.
Absolutely. He was one of my favourite parts of the first movie.
I don't know if... actor's name?
Jeffrey Wright?
I don't know if he's come out at all yet being like, well, I've read the script, it's great. And I think he did post something, didn't he?
I think he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much in it he will be. I mean, in the first movie, he was... I would say he was pretty significant part of it. And I loved it. Getting to see like proper detective movie, you know,
like a buddy cop situation was.
I love their relationship
phenomenal.
in it.
As good as like Gary Oldman and Gordon was, they never obviously they do work together.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, but like the vibe that them two had, like they were just two dude bros just going out solving crime together.
I love that, and I cannot wait to see more of it. So I do hope he still has a significant part, and I'm sure he will. He may even have gone up in the world since the last movie, because he definitely wasn't
Lieutenant Gordon, because Commissioner was the guy who died, right?
Yeah,
so now there's a promotion waiting to be filled.
So we might see him in potentially a higher office when we next see him. But
that does lead me to my main concern for the film, which is Ideally, I'd have the Batman 2 set, a year after the first one max. I still want this to be like Batman building himself up. Almost like if you watch the trilogy, you're seeing his skills and tech develop over time. Whereas, obviously, it could still be the case. Obviously, I don't know. But the fact that the sequel's taken this long to come out, Patterson's out. I'm not saying he looks old, don't get me wrong, but he is getting older. All the actors are getting older. And it's like, what usually tends to happen with sequels that come out so far apart is there's going to be a obviously natural time jump between the films. So what I don't want them to do is go from like a year 2 Batman to like I'm not saying this extreme, but like fucking Dark Knight Returns level. Like he's old, he's given up. Like I want them to still kind of keep the build up of him so we can develop with the character as the films and projects come out.
Yeah, I think you need to with stuff like this, they need to strike while the iron's hot. They've got the cast, everyone's still around, everyone still looks good. I'm not saying just churn them out for the sake of it, but maybe do like
it's been what 2022 the first one come out, and they're only filming this one next year. Like,
just 5 years passed since between releases, assuming Part 2 releases.
Which isn't the end of the world, Top Gun Maverick was like 20 years, and that's one of the best sequels ever made. But at the same time, it's like if you're gonna capitalise and make your own Batman universe, what are you doing fucking around 5 years till you make the next one?
Yeah, for me, obviously they're not going to do it, and you can't just write a script that quickly. But I would love to see if they did like a Back to the Future 2 and 3 scenario where they filmed those back to back, or like Lord of the Rings, they filmed as one huge movie.
Yeah.
Just knowing that they've sort of got it filmed and ready would be it'd be so nice, because then you're not going to have another 5-year wait, and potentially you don't know what's going to happen in that 5 years.
Then I suppose the other caveat to that is everything that's going on with DC. I suppose it was never clear and certain if they were making these films at all, and will Batman be part of the DCU going forward? I think that's a completely separate video we can. I was going to say
that's going to be a contentious discussion, because we are on opposite ends of that field, and unless they're doing a fake out, I believe it's been fairly well confirmed at the minute that it's not.
I will believe
James
it.
Gunn
I'll
said
believe
it's
it until I see a casting of the other Batman. Until that time, I believe Pattinson may turn up.
We will have a video coming about that, purely because it is something that we both feel very strongly about.
Good discussion to be had.
But that aside, it does factor into that whole process of how these movies are made, and where they fall in and what they can and can't do in them. But all being well, in another 2 years, we'll have another peak Batman movie to talk about.
And hopefully we'll be sat here discussing the beautiful, beautiful work that it is.
I was going to say, be sure to tune in 2 years' time when we're talking about the movie, or talking about how it's been delayed again. But
that would be my suicide message. If that's the case.
Yeah, I don't need any more reasons. That's the only thing keeping me going right now. So, Matt Reeves, please sort it out. I just need a good movie. I know it will be. But other little things I want, just before we sort of wrap up, what I want to see is the development of Batman in this movie. So I love the vibe of the first movie, his equipment, the car. I mean, we've got it there, and that is one of my favourite Batman builds of all time. I love it.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to see too much of that change. I don't want him to suddenly be really teched up and driving around in more of a sort of something closer to the schlocky sort of Batman and Robin, Batman Forever ones. I don't want anything like that, but
as you can see from my choice, you either do it cool muscle car or you do it realistic kind of battle tank vibe.
Yeah.
I don't want no limousine looking.
For he's not going to be in the James Gunn film, so for the Batman that will be in those, absolutely go for that. In my view,
even then, I still kind of think the sports car vibe's the way to do it, because unless you're doing a Batman film set in the gothic Gotham, no other car design really works. Could you imagine him driving, the Tim Burton one down normal New York City streets?
Well, they are really impressive. That one had to have cables that shot out the side of it so it could turn tight corners. I mean, I personally like it being a car. I don't have a problem with him having specialized ones that are more tank-esque or whatever. But I always and especially for the detective film, the first one was, I love this as a car, and he uses it as a car to get around in, and you see him he meets up with Gordon, and he's using this as his mode of transport, and I like having it sort of grounded like that. And I wouldn't mind if they change it, maybe do something a bit different. But as long as it's still the same silhouette, same vibe. I want to see a development of him, but not getting away from what made the first movie good in my eyes.
Yeah, I think similar to the point I made about I don't want to see a huge jump. I don't want him to go from like that level, the design and tech there. The next time we see him, he's like fucking Iron Man. He's got like screens coming out his gauntlets and like you know, the bat wing like flying around. Like keep it. Obviously, let him develop because he's learning and he's developing stuff. But kind of don't jump the gun and
don't come away from what worked really well in the first movie. Would be my view. But those are sort of the main things that I want. To be honest, I mean, I'm probably going to like it anyway, but for me, it comes down to try and keep the same vibes. You know, the cinematography, all that stuff was great in the first movie. I don't know too much about the sort of cast and the crew that are working on it, so I don't know if it's got like same cinematographer and things like that. But hopefully,
it was Greg Fraser, if I recall correctly.
Hopefully, they do, and they sort of keep that. As I said, I'd love to see Scarecrow. I know they won't do it, but please, just give me like some sort of, I want him to look something between like the new Batman Adventures, because that is peak redesign.
Well, I think even like Arkham Knight kind of.
I was going to say, but a mix of that. I also really love his mask, like in Asylum. The rest of him looks like a Gollum creature, a weird like guy. But I love the mask and obviously the finger.
Syringe.
That's great. Vibes. That would be what I would love to see. And for anyone that hasn't seen it, I'm going to request that in post when Jack is editing this, please put an image of Scarecrow from the new Batman Adventures and tell me this would not give you nightmares if Matt Reeves did this in live action.
Do it. Do it.
That would be my want. But yeah, so long as they keep those same vibes, give us this developing Batman, give us a bit more Alfred in there, make sure we've still got, Jim Gordon serving a big part. That's all I want out of it. Like there's lots of little things that would make it really cool to me, but I'll be happy to see any continuation in this universe because they've already shown to me that it's peak and they can continue to do that.
So that is our thoughts, theories, wishes, wants and concerns for the Batman Part 2. Obviously, we're going to hold this film in quite a high expectation, undoubtedly, just given how much we glaze the first one. I'm sure we could do a completely separate video just sitting here and gushing over.
I mean, it will crush me if it's bad.
I don't think it's capable of being objectively bad. I think it will just be whether it lives up to our personal expectation, whether the story goes the direction we were hoping. Like, even if it does the things I don't want it to do, I'm sure it'll still be good on paper. I'll just kind of think, eh. But that being said, what are your thoughts? What are your wishes? Any thoughts around, where you'd like the story to go? Do you agree with us? Disagree with us? Would you rather see an older Batman jump straight forward to Robin being there potentially?
Oh, we didn't talk about Robin.
Do we want sidekicks yet? Do we not? Do we want him to meet Robin in this film? A lot of people are talking about, who you can go see the Flying Graysons.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen there.
Well, we're not going to get into it, but my answer is maybe.
Yeah.
I was always a no, but I'm on the edge now.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that before we get on to a complete
We're going to get back into it, but yeah, I didn't even think about it when we talked about it.
But let us know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching and your continued support for the channel. If you did enjoy the video, please feel free to leave a like. Think about subscribing maybe if you feel kind enough. Please. Also check us out on TikTok and Instagram. We'll do a few little shorts, little clips here and there. Try to keep the content going. With all that being said, thanks for watching. See you next time.